Hey, what's up? Amy Scott Grand here, spiritual ass kicker. And I'm so excited to share this information with you, okay? Because if you have ever wondered how you can tap into your intuition and get accurate information when you're tired, stressed, frightened, or just basically not feeling so good, even when you're sick, like all of this is a lot of times it's when you need your intuition the most, right? When you're stressed out or scared or tired or not feeling well and wondering, hey, do I need to go to the ER or not? Is it optimal? I can't tell. I don't know. I don't want to die, right? Been there. I know what that feels like. And it's the times sometimes when it's hardest to feel like we can access that intuition, oftentimes are exactly when we need it most. So what I'm going to share with you today are 5 ways, count them, 5 ways that you can tap into your intuition when you're not feeling great, whether that happens to be stressed, scared, or just like overwhelmed. That's another one, right? Okay, so the very first and perhaps the most important thing that you can do is ground your energy. You thought I was going to say breathe, isn't it? But you know what? You're going to breathe. You're going to breathe because otherwise you die. So your instincts kick in, you breathe. I know you breathe shallow, right? You'll just use the top part of your lungs when you could be deep breathing all the way down into your core, down into your diaphragm. But I promise you, if you get grounded, you will breathe. Okay. Now you might use deep breathing as a way to get grounded, which by the way, if you don't know, go get a copy of Get Grounded. If you are like, I don't know, what's this grounding thing you speak of? I have not heard of that. Everything you need to know is in Get Grounded, right? On Kindle and Amazon. But the best thing that you can do, whether you are stressed, scared, exhausted, overwhelmed, or sick, is ground yourself, right? And you're simply accessing, you're tapping into your root chakra and accessing that strong, stable earth energy. That's really what grounding, even though there's a million ways to do it, that's really what grounding is all about. But when you're not feeling like you can access your intuition, it's because you're not grounded. I mean, think about it. If you're tired, usually not grounded. If you're stressed or you haven't been grounded, and that's why you let yourself get fatigued. If you're overwhelmed, definitely not grounded. If you're stressed, definitely not grounded. And if you're, what was the other one that I said? Where's my list? Oh, if you're scared, of course. It's dang near impossible to be grounded and full of fear. No, they can't coexist, okay? So by grounding your energy, even if that's the only thing you remember from this video, I promise it will serve you well, okay? Is to ground your energy. And by grounding your energy, you're stabilizing that root chakra, which can set a chain reaction, start to put all of your other chakras oh, okay. Oh, it's going to be okay. We don't have to be in panic mode, right? And then it'll be easier for you to access your intuition, which a lot of people say right here, third eye. But I don't know. For me, it's kind of here. It sort of hangs out like a semicircle back around my head. Have you ever noticed that your intuition sort of feels like it's in a certain spot? For some people, it's definitely in their gut. They have a knowing in their gut. But yeah, usually for me, it's just sort of hanging around right here. I have little, the little angel devil on your shoulder. There's a whole army of them right here all the time for me. So anyway, okay. So grounding, that's the first thing. Usually if you'll just do that, you can calm down enough to be able to tap into your intuition. But if that's not enough, then try compartmentalizing. I know, right? I just did these videos on why compartmentalized conversations are bad, but not all compartmentalization is unsuitable. Right? I don't know about you, but you don't open a drawer in my kitchen and have forks and knives and spoons all having a big old flatware orgy. No, I got one of those little tray things, right? And it's the forks and the knives and the spoons and the big spoons and the straws and the kid utensil. It's everything. Yeah. Compartmentalization can be a good thing when used properly, right? And not just for order, But I know you're still trying to get flatware orgy out of your head, aren't you? I just make this shit up. I don't know. It's funny, but I thank God every day that I'm funny, right? Because it helps me deal with a lot of stuff and get out of a lot of sticky situations. But enough about that. Let's compartmentalize the parameters of this video and talk about why compartmentalization is good. If something happens, right? Like if something goes wrong, let's say that somebody close to you has a bad accident or even dies, right? Like there's stuff that has to happen in spite of the fact that you're grieving or you're worried about them. Bills still have to get paid. People in the house still have to get fed. Someone's got to go to the grocery. You know, it's like you don't feel like doing any of this stuff, but it has to get done. And so for a lot of people dealing with grief, compartmentalization is one way that they can deal with it. But let's take something not so heavy and serious, okay? Well, you know, when I first started teaching people how to tap into their intuition, and this was a method that I used, I would actually take my ego and put it in a box. So I essentially compartmentalized my ego, right? So I put my ego in a box and then I set that box aside, right? Or I told it, okay, go get coffee. I'll meet you back in half an hour. And then I could tap into my intuition without that like monkey chatter going all the time while I was doing it. And you guys know, like, I'm a big fan of the ego. I feel like your ego is your biggest ally. Maybe we'll talk about that another time. So I don't think the ego's bad or anything like that. It actually serves you better than a lot of other aspects of self. Okay. It's definitely equally as important. But by compartmentalizing it and sort of setting it on the side, you now open up a space to be able to do a different kind of non-ego based work. Okay. Compartmentalization works the same way with your intuition. Okay. If you're feeling like, even though you're grounded, you're still like not getting anything, you can't access your intuition, take whatever's up for you right now, like whatever's in your space, and imagine that you're putting it in a box. You're not throwing it away, like you'll deal with it later, but for now you're just setting it aside. Okay, so if you're dealing with stress, put everything that's got you stressed out in that box, and it's like, okay, I will deal with you in a bit, and you just set it on the side. If you're exhausted, you're like, wow, I really need sleep, I have too much to do, let me just take all this fatigue, put it in this big sad tired box, and just put that on the side, and I will deal with you shortly. And if you've got fear, take everything that's like completely scaring you to pieces, put it in this box, and don't put it in a dark room, because that would still be scary. But put it on the side. Okay, I will deal with this in a minute. Okay. When you do that, it actually frees up space in your mind that allows you to be able to tap into your intuition, because that distraction is temporarily set aside. Now, there's one caveat in the compartmentalization. I'll come back to that and talk to you about it later. The next thing you can do, and this, you know, I talk about this in Pendulum Mojo, I explain exactly how to do it, is use third-party verification. If you are overcome with grief, or like if someone you love was just in a very bad car accident, you might not be able to ground. Might not be able to compartmentalize all of the anxiety and fear that's coming up right now. But you may have to make a decision about, you know, do we go to this hospital or this hospital? Or do we, you know, like who do I call first to let them know? Or, you know, whatever. You may want to have someone else check in for you about that. Someone who's not involved in the situation, who could be totally objective and give you that third-party verification. Or if you're like, I think this is what's optimal, but I don't really know. If you can't ground, you can't compartmentalize, have someone that you trust who's removed from the situation verify for you. And that kind of leads me to the next one, which is another way. Just if you find that you can't put it in a box, like you're putting it in a box and it just won't be quiet for 5 minutes so you can think, try helping someone else, literally in any capacity, right? Like helping an old lady across the street, or helping someone carry their groceries, or asking someone, what can I do for you today? Helping another person really helps you get out from under your own shit, because your shit's like here, right? It's like sitting on your shoulders. It's sitting on your head. It's like pressure. It's weight. It's, and you like, it's like that sort of compartmentalizes itself if you go out and help somebody else, right? So that's actually a way to be able to tap into your intuition. Or if you ask me, okay, I can't get any information on this. Is there something I could check on for you? Let me check on something for you. If one of my kids gets sick, I could tell you right now, it's way easier. I could check anything for you in a heartbeat. And if one of my kids is sick and I have to make a snap decision, I got to ground, I got to compartmentalize. And sometimes I got to go get third-party verification. Or I call someone else and I'm like, what can I help you with? Because I can't focus on my kids right now. Usually they're like, shut up, what do you need? I'll just check in. But I'm like, no, really, I can't think. So that's a great way to sort of temporarily suspend your burden, is to help someone else. And then once your intuition's going for them, you might find it's like, in fact, I can't even tell you how many times I go to check something for somebody. If I get like stuck on a problem for myself and then I go to check something for somebody else and I'm like, I'm hearing what's coming out of my mouth and I'm like, oh my God, that's for me too. Wow. Isn't that interesting how the universe works? So a lot of times I get my own guidance that I need when I'm actually helping someone else, because it sort of unlocks your mind and gets you away from that burden, and you're like putting your focus on another person, which is like very freeing. Okay. Not all the time, not if you're codependent, but don't turn my words around. You know what I mean? Flatware orgy. Okay. Oh, and the fifth thing is gratitude. That is the fifth way. If you're like, man, I'm like, got all this stuff going on and I can't like focus on my intuition, practice all these other things we talked about, and then invoke a sense of gratitude and a spirit of gratitude. And by doing that, it lightens your load, right? It lightens everything. It's hard to stay focused on the weight on your shoulders when you're consciously making yourself aware of counting your blessings, right? Again, it's like those two things. It's like my favorite quote from The Secret Garden, where you tend a rose, a thistle can't grow, right? So everywhere you plant a rose, there's no thistle there. It might be all around it, but there's no, where you put your attention on the rose, that can only be the rose. It can't be the thistle. So that's what gratitude can do in times of stress. All right. So, I said there was a caveat. This is why I have a list. So I'll come back to it. I said there was a caveat. So let me let you know what the caveat is about compartmentalizing your stress or your fear, your anger, or whatever's going on that's giving you a hard time tapping into your intuition. If you compartmentalize it, make sure that you then go back and decompartmentalize it. Okay? What I mean by that is, if you are like super angry and you're like, okay, I'm really pissed. Have you ever told that to, I know I've said that to my kids, I'm really angry right now. And so I cannot talk to you, because if I talk to you right now, I'm going to yell and it's going to get ugly. So I need you to go away. So I compartmentalize the kid, compartmentalize my anger. I need you to go to your room and I will let you know I'm ready to talk. Okay. So that's another way that we can compartmentalize, but you got to go back and unpack that. Okay. Because otherwise it becomes suppressed and then it festers, and then you know what happens. It like blows up and it is no bueno. No. So if you compartmentalize fear, anxiety, stress, fatigue, overwhelm, make sure that you come back and unpack that. Okay. After you've gotten the intuitive advice or whatever guidance you wanted, you go, okay, now let me deal with this anger. Or I may need to make a few phone calls and then let me deal with why I'm so pissed off, or let me now take a nap, or let me see what I can get off my plate so I don't feel quite so overwhelmed. Okay. Because we don't want that to like blow up on you later. All right. So there you go. There you have it. There are 5 ways that you can access your intuition when you feel stressed, angry, tired, or what was the other one? I keep forgetting. Scared. Oh my God, Halloween's coming and I keep forgetting, scared. Okay, yeah, that's what you can do. And I just want to leave you with this one expression, flatware orgy. See you next time.